Well, I've got good news and bad news. It's tale time. This week I was thinking about this memory of thumbing through the LL Bean Christmas catalog as a kid and seeing this one advertisement for a service where you could send away a photo of your child and you would receive a VHS of that child's face superimposed upon the star of an animated movie. And even at 9 or 10 years old, I looked at that and I thought, dang, this is kind of pathetic. This is kind of sad. What kind of child wants this? This sort of patronizing, condescending self-importance, and it's probably not even a good movie. I found a clip on the Internet Archive.
So you found me? Well, I'm gonna stop you. You'll protect yourself with a force field trick.
So the reason I was even thinking about any of that is that I just finished Final Fantasy 16 this week. And it's a great game. One of my favorite games of the year. But there are times where it does feel like this.
Amazing kid. Uh-oh, let's get out of here.
And no, I'm not saying that I look like Clive, that I see myself in him. We have similar body types, but that's really where it ends. What I'm saying is that video games are different. Think about like history's broadest, most beloved tales. A lot of them are just about special boys, surviving 12 labors, pulling a sword from a stone, lifting an evil emperor up over their heads and then tossing them down a big electric shaft, winning 7 Super Bowls. We love special boys. So it's not unusual if you're telling a story for it to be about a special boy, but what makes video games different is that you are the special boy. You control his actions. You make his decisions. You receive his glory. And Final Fantasy 16 is the new standard in the special boy genre. Frequently, the characters in this game will tell you how much of a special boy you really are. It's heavily emphasized. And I like this game. I played this game all night long for weeks on end. So here's my question for this week. Am I basic? Am I simple? Am I dumb? Don't answer already. Please wait until the end of the video to answer. Please not yet. There's a lot of video left to go. Because look, I like to think of myself as a weird person. It's part of my identity. I'm weird. I am the counterculture. I would love to tell you I'm the kind of person, my favorite book is Moby Dick. My favorite movie's Magnolia. My favorite stories are about normal people who are not doing so good. And yet, my actions prove otherwise. I like Final Fantasy 16, and I tell myself that I like it for all the reasons that are not the story. I don't even need that story, man. I like exploring the worlds. I like coming up with combat strategies and then implementing them. I don't care if I'm a special boy or not. No, because that's an unrelated, completely irrelevant part of why I like that game. I know it for sure. I've always been about the gameplay, man. My game of the year, my actual favorite game, is Tears of the Kingdom, which is coincidentally, yes, a special boy game. Coincidentally, you are constantly reminded that the only person who can save us is the legendary swordsman. That's irrelevant. That's not why I'm there. Believe me, I'm there for the creative and dirty problem solving. I don't even like that story. I think the story's bad. I don't care. And besides, I tell myself, my game of the year last year was Elden Ring, and that game treats you like shit. Still, in the end, it was a story about me being a special boy. So maybe it's me, or maybe it's just really hard to find an adventure game where you are not the chosen one. Look at the games coming up. Immortals of Avium? This has special boy written all over it.
The last immortal.
Spider-Man 2 is 2 special boys. Preemptive Starfield fans, not even you are safe. Sure, you don't have to be a special boy, per se, but you will have to be a special space captain, whether you like it or not.
So alien, and I'm certain one of them reached out and spoke to you.
Oh, wow, we've never seen anyone like you. Oh, you can use their powers? Wow. Wow, you are so special. Something I find interesting about Final Fantasy XVI, though, is that it does seem, at least in this case, that the special boyness is there to support the original game idea. It seems like the first idea that's at the root of all of this is let's make a combat-focused action game where all your special moves come from summons. The lore and the character and the whole world all seems like it just serves that initial gameplay idea. Now, Wikipedia does say that the dialogue was all finished before the game design was finalized, but what I'm saying is I do believe that the special boyness of the main character does almost serve the game design. But at the same time, I still wonder if it had to be that way. Did it? And I'm not making a video that's like, you know, it would Final Fantasy 16, you could have been the bard, it would have been good. You know, like it wouldn't have been. I'm not crossing my arms saying like, I wish I was the chocobo farmer. That would have been more exciting because that's not true. Serious question is, would the game have been less fun? Would the story have been less interesting if everyone in the world could suck up summons and use them for special abilities? Did that have to be just your thing? I think the answer is no, not necessarily. Sure, you could have made the Final Fantasy XVI game where you're not the most important person in the world, but it would have been harder to make exciting to people. It would be more work for the storytellers and the game designers to figure out. It would be more work for the marketers to figure out how to sell this to us. Honestly, I don't think even most scenario designers think about it. I think it's automatic, right? If I'm making this grand world, if I'm trying to tell a grand story, of course I'm telling it about the most important person there. Who else should it be about? You know, this isn't Lady Bird. I'm making a Final Fantasy game, but I think you can do it too much. I think you can overdo it. And that can actually harm your video game. What I wonder is if Final Fantasy XVI's special boy is too special. And I wonder if that's the reason when I'm doing those last 10 or so side quests, that I'm just rapidly tapping X to get through the dialogue. Because I can't care. I'm too special at that point. Don't you understand, quest giver? I'm the most powerful being on this whole planet. Don't you get that? What are you talking to me for? Yeah, I'll go slay your beast for the XP, but I don't give a shit what's making you sad right now. I don't care whether you live or die. This story is simply not about you. It's about me, the special boy. Now, does that make me basic? Does that make me simple? Does that make me dumb? Don't answer yet. There's a lot more video to go. I got like 5 pages here with facts and evidence that I'm not dumb. But you've clearly made up your mind already. So that's delayed input for this week. Thanks for watching. Got a couple of bonus updates for you. Firstly, last week I made this chart about the value of currently untitled licensed games that we've only seen CG trailers for. And then this week, EA announced another untitled licensed game and then showed a CG teaser for it. Here it is. Untitled Black Panther game. This will be the first title from a brand new studio called Cliffhanger Games. And it's also going to be a AAA third-person action game. So let's just go ahead and put it right here. And it's from the comments. A few of you were looking for Insomniac's Wolverine. Wolverine is not untitled. You bubs. And then second, I got to talk a little bit more about those customizable videos. So I found You Are a Star video from Reddit where somebody was asking if anybody else remembered it. And the way I found it is I went to Google and I typed in child head photo VHS, which I realize sounds crazy, but it was the first thing that came up. And what's fun is that 5 years ago, they were still going. And yes, good news. Today, they are still going. For $39.99 US, you can get a customized video delivered via DVD, digital download, or USB. And check it out, they have a lot of options. Huge selection here, notably including some licenses that I can't believe they possibly could have acquired legally. But also, I don't know a lot about Australian law, so there's a chance this could be legit. But what's fun is actually the non-licensed videos, where they have to come up with their own shit, and it's just so weird. It actually looks kind of cool.
Surpass multiple fight simulations. Silence Professor Nasty once and for all, while disrupting all of his evil conspiracies. Exercise your fierce skills, sustain the title of fairest in the land, and enjoy Destiny's delivery of a happily ever after.
They're just gonna live the fantasy of marrying a half-human, half-fox prince. Congrats, child, you're a star now.